Well, it might be a miserable day up here on the Central Coast today, but I've had the opportunity for the last 3 hours to drive around in this beautiful Mercedes-Benz X-Class from Mercedes-Benz Gosford. Now, this is Mercedes' entry into the lucrative dual cab four-wheel drive ute category. It's hitting the tradie market with the emphasis on a little bit of family on the weekends. So let's check it out and see how it goes. So it's a dark, miserable, rainy day up here on the coast, and probably a really good day to test drive a car like this because I own an Isuzu D-Max, as most of you know, and in the wet, the D-Max, even though it's got a traction control, in the wet, you still get a little bit tail happy around a corner if you've accelerated a bit too quick, and it's a common trait of the four-wheel drive utes, or of any ute, because essentially you've got a hollow tub out the back and no weight pushing you down. So it'll be interesting to see how the Mercedes-Benz X-Class handles the slippery road up here at Lisaro this morning. All right, now we're at an intersection here. The roads are slippery and wet. Now this is the exact time where normally a ute like this would be very slippery on the rear end. So let's accelerate quite hard out of this corner and see what the truck does. Wow. Now, you wouldn't have caught it on the camera, but there was almost zero wheel spin. We got a really good acceleration. The traction control kicked in and controlled it in really quite a smooth manner. Man, I'm really impressed. In fact, they were telling me at the showroom that the suspension that they've put in this truck makes it feel like, from a traction point of view, that there's 500 kilos in the tray. Now, you don't feel that in the truck. You don't feel like you've got 500 kilos lugging around, but you do feel like you've got the traction of having 500 kilos in the tray. So, big thumbs up, Mercedes-Benz. That's very cool. That's probably one of the greatest safety features for this car, being essentially what would be a tradesman's vehicle and then a weekend family vehicle. That's family safety right there. Now, essentially there's 13 variants of the X-Class, ranging from engine choices, gearbox choices, and luxury choices. So let's talk about the engines first. The standard engine on the X-Class is a 2.3 litre common rail diesel engine. Then you get the choice. You get the choice of a single turbo or a bi-turbo engine. So the single turbo engine is producing 120 kilowatts for a single turbo. If you upgrade to the bi-turbo engine, you're going to get 140 kilowatts and 450 newton meters of torque. So that's up with most of the big four-wheel drive utes that are available. It certainly puts you with plenty of horsepower under your foot to tow anything you like. In particular, while we're talking about towing, it has a 3.5 ton towing capacity with a 350 kilo downward ball weight, I think. I'm pretty sure it was 350 kilos. Now later this year, if you want more power, there will be available, November, December somewhere, there will be available a V6 diesel. Now the V6 is going to offer up to 180 kilowatts and 550 newton meters of torque. That's quite a bit of poke in anyone's business. So this will be probably the most powerful ute of its kind in Australia, I would say. So the Pure is entry level, robust tradesman's vehicle. The Progressive, this one here, is a little bit more comfortable and more Mercedes-Benz like. More what you'd expect Mercedes-Benz to be. Now the top of the range is called the Power, and it has everything, all the bells and whistles that you would expect from Mercedes-Benz. The interior is more C-Class Mercedes-Benz attire, I guess, what you'd expect from C-Class Mercedes-Benz. Now, the Power comes standard with all-wheel drive 4MATIC system, the Mercedes-Benz 4MATIC system. 7-speed automatic with steering wheel paddle shifters for gear selection as well. So when I started doing research about the X-Class, I did see a lot of information and opinions on the internet that the X-Class is just a Nissan Navara dressed up in pretty clothes. Well, that's true and it's false. Essentially, every vehicle has to start somewhere. And if you're starting a build on a completely new platform that you've never built before, it could take up to 10 years to develop the actual machine itself. So many companies these days piggyback off small bits and pieces of pre-existing companies, and then they develop their own platform on top of that. So yes, there are parts of the Nissan Navara in the Mercedes-Benz X-Class, but this car is so much more than a Navara. So let's talk about the length and the width. It is 50 mils wider and it is longer too, 5.38, I think, 5.38 meters. So it's larger overall than the Nissan Navara. The tub at the back, you can actually fit a full-size Australian spec pallet in the back. Now the only other car in the market that you can do that in this category is the Volkswagen. So that's a big bonus. The towing capacity on here is 3.5 tons. The maximum payload for the tub itself, 1.1 ton. So this is capable of carrying quite a bit of load. Now, Mercedes-Benz have completely put their own suspension through this car. And although it is a tradies truck, it's a four-wheel drive ute, and that can never be ignored. But driving it behind the wheel, other than its length, it really feels like a nice, comfortable Mercedes-Benz car. I actually am very pleasantly surprised. Owning a D-Max myself, knowing how they're relatively comfortable, but they're still a truck. Driving this, you feel like you're driving a car and not a truck, but you get all of the benefits of owning a truck. As you saw earlier, when I tried to accelerate on a wet, slippery corner, it didn't skip out at all. It was so stable. The traction control cut in really efficiently, and so much so that I didn't notice it at first until I saw the light flashing on the dashboard and telling me that the traction control had initiated. Now the other thing I really like about this is the 2.3 litre bi-turbo common rail diesel. Now, having two turbos has eradicated the turbo lag when you accelerate. So when you accelerate with a normal turbo vehicle, especially a diesel, there'll be a little bit of slowness until the turbo spools up and gives you the power that you're requiring. Now, because this has got twin turbos on it, or bi-turbos on it, when you accelerate, you get your acceleration power almost instantaneously. It's not perfect, but it's better than most. And then you have your turbo spooling up all the way through the rev range as far as you would ever need it in this. Like, you're not running this at high revs like you would be a track car. But where you want your torque and your power is down low, and you get it here with the bi-turbo. Look, there's no doubt that this is a beautiful car. Being a ute, being a dual cab, being a Mercedes-Benz, having the comfort in the cabin that you do, it's absolutely a car that you should be putting on your shopping list. But bear in mind, it is at the top end of the pricing budget when it comes to this category of car. If you already have a couple of Mercedes-Benz sitting in your driveway, this is going to look great sitting there with them. If you are a tradie that's going to absolutely ruin the tray out the back, then something to consider is the cost, no doubt. Do I think it's an amazing ute? Yes, absolutely, it's an amazing ute. The suspension is car-like. The technology within this ute is everything that you would expect from Mercedes-Benz. From your safety technology, your anti-lock brakes, your traction control, right down to your descent control when you're four-wheel driving. You can put it on automatic descent. If you're going down in four-wheel high, you'll be coming down at 8 kilometers an hour. If you're coming down in four-wheel low, you'll be coming down at 5 kilometers an hour, fully controlled by the computer. All right, if you'd like to check out the walk around of the Mercedes-Benz X-Class, the link is in the description below the video, but I'll also put it on a card just at the top of the screen. There'll be a card, and you feel free to click on that to go and check out the walk around video and the interior shots of the Mercedes-Benz X-Class. As always, folks, these videos are only possible with the support of local businesses that are prepared to lend me a car for the day. So this car today came from Mercedes-Benz on the Central Coast, and the link will be in the description below, but also up on the screen now. Please, if you're thinking about any style of Mercedes-Benz, head up to the Central Coast to Mercedes-Benz and have a chat to the guys. They've got an amazing array of Benzes in there, and in particular the X-Class will be there. This one that I'm driving today is the demo, and so if you want to come up and drive this car, it's available in the showroom today. So ring them up, book in a test drive, and you won't regret it. It's a beautiful car, really, really nice car.